Hey there, it's been a minute since the last vlog. Hopefully you enjoyed the course. Today it is mid-July and we're putting the beds to rest for the summer. It's a little bit later than I was hoping for, but as you know, I've been pretty busy. And I think what I want to do in this video is to show you how we're going to do this. And so we have this tunnel all cleared out. And this is something that you could use if you're putting beds to rest for the winter time as well. But of course, you probably know that we're taking the summer off here. And so we're trying to get the beds nice and comfy and settled in for planting into the fall. So I want to show you how we're going to do that. I'm over here now in front of tunnel 3, and you can see we've already got the tarp pulled out on this one. We've already gotten this one ready and got the tarp on it. And so the main idea here is that we're going to add a bunch of moisture, we're going to layer in some materials, and then we're going to pull the tarp over it and let everything break down, smother any weeds, and just protect the soil while we're not growing in it. So let me show you the tunnel 2, which we're going to work on today. Here I am inside tunnel 2, and you can see that there really isn't much going on here. This looks like an empty tunnel. And what we've done so far is we just pulled out all the crops. So we pulled out what we could, and then the crops that we could, we terminated them at soil level just by cutting them off and leaving the roots in the ground, try to let them break down, similar style to what we always do. But besides that, we haven't done much, but the one thing that we have done is that we added a lot of moisture. And I want to talk about that for a second. Now, when you're in a tunnel, and it's not raining in here, obviously, so you never get a large flush through the soil. And over time, when you're irrigating with drip or overhead or whatever you're using, you're adding moisture, but all that moisture is getting absorbed by the plants, by the soil, and what's left behind are any salts or minerals that are in your water. And you can get a buildup of salt over time, of course, depending on how much you're irrigating, what's in your water, those kinds of things. Now, I haven't really seen that yet here, but I want to be a little proactive about it and sort of be ahead of it. Now, what you can do is kind of what we did here is you need to take a moment, some point during the year, and just put a lot of water down at once. And this creates like a rinsing effect through the soil. Now, when you're outside, obviously you get rain events and it'll flush the soil pretty often, but inside you don't have that. So what we did is we tried to water in here really heavily this week and to try to just push as much through the soil. Now, I remember first hearing about this thinking, well, you're using the same water that you are using when you're irrigating, but the thing is now is that it's not just getting absorbed, it's like flushing through. So put down a good amount of water, which we've done. It's pretty moist in here, and that's going to do that flushing of the salt, but also we're going to be adding some material to the tunnels, to the beds, and then covering it with the tarp. And so we want to get some moisture in there to help break down those materials, keep the soil biology active, because when we pull the tarp over it, we want to make sure that everything's happy underneath. In addition to the water, the one other thing we did is we pulled up the wooden stakes that were in the ground. And you guys know that I love permanent beds and we're not moving the beds at all, but we knew that if we started pulling the tarp across with the wooden stakes, we either rip them out or rip the tarp. So we pulled them out and we just dropped little pieces of PVC pipe in the corners so we know where they were. We can come back in and lay it out when we're ready to go. But overall, this is a great start here. This tunnel didn't really have a lot of weed pressure. Tunnel 3 had 0 weed pressure. We have a little bit of weed pressure in tunnel 1, which that's the next tunnel we're going to do. But again, we're going to be putting the beds to sleep. We're going to be breaking down some material, keeping the soil biology active, and we're also going to try to cut down any weed pressure, and that's what we're going to do here. So let's talk about the materials. We're going to be adding 2 different materials to the soil. The first of which is our homemade leaf mold, and if you hopefully saw that video that we made, I think it was last fall, I'll leave it linked up here, where we basically collected all the leaves on the property using 2 lawn mowers and put it under here, had it break down. This is what we got here, and let me dig down a little bit and show you. So, you know, it's not fully broken down, but because we chopped up pretty good, you can see this is going to be fantastic. So we're going to add a couple buckets of this per bed, and then we're going to be adding some compost. So I still have some commercial compost I need to get out of the driveway anyway, so we're going to use that. And it's actually okay that it's not fully broken down because, as I said, we're going to add a bunch of moisture, we're going to add the compost, and we're going to put the tarp on it, and so it'll continue to break down over the summer, especially with the heat. It should happen pretty quickly under the tarp and in the tunnels. So again, adding carbon material, you guys know I'm always a fan of, and this is a free thing that we did because we obviously collected leaves off the property and just let them sit here and break down. So hopefully by doing this, when we pull the tarp off in the fall, the bed should be pretty happy. We won't really have to add anything, and you know, we're kind of just feeding the soil, and that's the idea here, is that we're feeding the soil over the summer and keeping it active at the same time as we're protecting it and also killing any weeds that are growing there. got all the material down and now watering it in just to get everything moist so it'll break down in there. And yes, I did go and just change my shirt. It is definitely summertime here, and that just goes to show one of the main reasons why I didn't want to be farming in the summer was just because of the heat, and I didn't really want to be out here. And I've talked about this in previous videos, but I think we got a much later start on this project of putting the beds to sleep or to rest for the summer because I've just been so busy. And obviously, you know, hopefully, that I've been working on a course, which I just finished up, and that feels absolutely amazing to have accomplished that, to get all of that information out there for free. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. There's a playlist over on my YouTube channel where you can watch all of them in order or not in order, but that content will stay up for free for everybody. So really happy about that and happy to have that done. But we'll be taking the summer off, and I have talked about this, but what does that mean for the channel? Well, you know, I'm not going to be posting videos very often on this channel because I'm not going to be farming. So I hope to do some farm tour interview type things. If I can find some opportunities to do that, I'd be happy to do that over the summer, but I won't be farming. So once this gets set up, I'll be working on other stuff. So I just wanted to let you know what's coming up on the channel in case you're curious where I'm going to be. I also have another YouTube channel in case you haven't seen that. It's about camera gear and videography and content creation. So I'll be working on that pretty much most of the summer. I'll leave that link down below if you want to check it out. But in addition to that, I have some other great news for someone that you guys probably know and love. So I'll bring him in here, let him talk about it. We got my good friend Gene here. Of course, most of you know Gene. He's been in plenty of videos and been a huge help on the farm here, but also obviously Right City Farm. So Gene, what's the new thing? What are you up to?
I'm starting a YouTube channel. All right.
So we've been talking about this for a while, and I'm just happy to help Gene out as much as possible with learning how to shoot videos. And obviously you've been around me enough making videos, but can you tell everyone a little bit about what the channel is going to be?
And first of all, you helped convince myself that I do have enough content.
You do. To
film year round, because I myself and another guy cook on a chuck wagon around the state of North Carolina and a little bit of Virginia. And we do anywhere from 5 to 7 shows a year. That's not enough for year-round content. But I have been cooking outdoors since I was 11 years old, over 40 years. And with that background, I also am into some unusual cooking. So that's what my channel is going to be about: cooking on a chuck wagon, outdoor cooking, and some unusual cooking. If you don't know what a chuck wagon is, a lot of people don't, watch the channel.
All right.
Because there's going to be some education about what the chuck wagon, the different parts of a chuck wagon, and how we use it on the trail.
All right, so if you don't know what a chuck wagon is, or you want to see what Gene's up to, it's going to be really interesting. There's going to be a lot of cool cooking stuff. I'll leave a link for that down below. Gene, what'd you say, like a week and a half from now, probably?
July 26th.
All right, so take a look out for that. Also, go give Gene some love, get him some subscribers. Let's kick off this channel. So, looking forward to it, man.
And I'll be talking about how you can do it inside your house.
Oh, awesome. So there'll be a lot of content for people doing all sorts of kinds of cooking.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to cook it outside.
Very cool, man. Excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
We got the tarp pulled out, and yeah, that clean shirt didn't last so long. Also, I definitely need a new hat. All right, so brought the tarp out, and if you've been following along the channel, you kind of know that how this whole system works, but I'll let you know here. This tarp I bought from Farmer's Friend, which I'll leave a link down below. Great tarps. This was a 32 by 105 foot tarp, which we cut in half. So now I have two 16 by 105 tarps, and they fit my tunnels perfectly. So I just want to say also that what we're doing here, I haven't done this before, so I just want to share what we're doing. There's no right way to do any of this stuff, but I figured I'd share it with you. So anytime that you're covering ground with a tarp, if you're preparing ground for the first time, or you're doing something like this where you're putting beds to rest for a period of time, you always want to add moisture, because what that does, it does two things. One is it feeds the biology in the soil. We want to keep that happy. But also, you can take this opportunity to try to kill any weeds that are going to be there. So you're going to use that occultation method where we're using the tarp to force germinate everything. So you need some moisture in there to do that. So seeds will germinate, they'll grow. It's covered with a tarp, so they'll die. So we'll get some weed prevention for future plantings. So that's also a great benefit here. So this is a great technique if you are, as I said, starting new beds, or if you are putting beds to rest for the summer or the winter. This works pretty well, and we're really excited about this. The only thing left to do on this is just sort of tuck it in on the sides and then put some weight on the ends here I was using T-posts, and I can keep the sides of the tunnels down, and the reason for that is I just don't want the tarp blowing around as much, and we'll leave the ends open just so it can ventilate a little bit. It really just keeps the tarp in place pretty well. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this, and when we pull the tarps out, I'll show you what it looks like and how that works. But I think what will happen, we'll basically have to just put the bed stakes back in, probably tilt the beds, add some wood chips, because everything's gonna be pretty broken down after that point, especially over the summer with the heat. And we should be good to go. We should have happy, healthy soil. And remember, because we don't have plants growing in the ground, we need to be feeding the soil. And that's really the additions of the leaf mold and the compost, is sort of just to feed the soil, because we don't have photosynthesis going on. We don't have plants putting root exudates into the ground. So we need to feed the soil in some other way. So we just gave them a snack for the summer. Hopefully everything in there will be happy, and we'll see how this goes. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please consider hitting subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. Also, go check out Gene's new channel, link down below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. You're growing in tunnels, one thing that you can have is salt buildup. This framing looks terrible. Hey there, we're putting tunnel number 2 to sleep. To sleep? To rest? And we're not really taking the summer off, but sort of. Is that good? You want to do it again?
Yeah, no, I feel good about it.